Shalom. I would like to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakudash. I would like to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all you sincere Akim, pushing his word out across the four corners of the world. Just another news update through the spirit, the power, and the vibration of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And I have an article right here from UPI, and the title says, North Korea warns a nuke for nuke reaction after U.S. South Korea air drills. And this was published on February the 2nd, 2023. And it says, North Korea warned of the toughest reaction to expanded joint United States-South Korea drills on Thursday, including the most overwhelming nuclear force, according to state media. The DPRK, which is the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, and they stated, we'll take the toughest reaction to any military attempt of the U.S. on the principle of nuke for nuke and an all-out confrontation for an all-out confrontation. An unnamed foreign ministry spokesperson said in a statement carried by Korean Central News Agency. And it says, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea is the official name of North Korea. The statement came on the heels of combined U.S.-South Korean air drills over the Yellow Sea on Wednesday, which included B-1B bombers and F-35B stealth fighters from the U.S. Air Force alongside the South's F-35A fighters. The drills demonstrated the United States' will and ability to provide strong and credible extended deterrence against North Korea's nuclear and missile threats, South Korea's defense ministry said in a statement Thursday. Earlier this week, U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin visited Seoul and vowed to expand joint military drills and to strengthen extended deterrence, which includes a nuclear umbrella against North Korean threats. So as you know, with the United States and South Korea, they created an alliance nearly 7 decades ago. And it was an alliance of anchor of peace and security for one another. And the results of South Korea sleeping in bed with that whore, referring to America, also known as Babylon the Great, South Korea is now the 10th largest economy in the world. They have a strong world-class military that has fought alongside the U.S. during the Vietnam War and also Afghanistan. So you have the neighboring country of North Korea, spearheaded by Kim Jong-un, feeling some type of way of how America and South Korea are expanding their joint military drills. And that's why you see at the title right here, North Korea warns a nuke for nuke reaction after U.S.-South Korea air drills. And all of these world conflicts that's involving armed forces, discords, is accumulating up to World War III, which is going to be the war of all wars. Let's get this right quick in Mark, the 13th chapter and the 3rd verse. And as he, referring to Yahweh Shai, sat upon the Mount of Olives over against the temple, Peter and James and John and Andrew asked him privately, tell us, when should these things be? And what should be the sign when all these things should be fulfilled? Verse 5, and Yahweh Shai answering them began to say, take heed lest any man deceive you, meaning to pay attention to the prophecies. As it says in 2 Ezra 9:1, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before. So by being called into this glorious truth as a sincere brother, you're supposed to be on your watch, looking out for the biblical prophecies and warning the people. We jump down to verse 6, for many shall come in my name saying, I am the Mashiach, and shall deceive many. And here's the point, verse 7. And when ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, be ye not troubled, for such things must needs be, but the end should not be yet. We are definitely approaching the end times of this so-called white man's chapter by hearing wars and rumors of wars. And then rumors going into like a circulating story, news, reports. And that's why you're constantly seeing within the news of these different global leaders dishing out open threats. Tensions are being heightened. More and more confrontation. And that's because Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah is playing spiritual chess with all of these global leaders. And that's going to lead into Revelation 11 chapter and the 14th verse. As it says, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe, referring to World War III, coming quickly. Verse 8, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be earthquakes in diverse places. Linking up with 2 Ezra, the 9th chapter again, as it says, Therefore, when there should be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world. Just as of February the 1st, 2023, it was an earthquake in Dominican Republic. And there was also an earthquake nearby Philippines yesterday. Also in Iran back in January the 28th. So we are witnessing all these biblical tokens coming to fruition. So for nation should rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there should be earthquakes in diverse places, and there should be famines and troubles. These are the beginning of sorrows. And let's link that up with this article right here from TASS.com. And the title says, if World War III breaks out, it won't start on tanks or fighter jets, warns Medvedev. And this was published on January the 28th, 2023. And it says, Russian Security Council Deputy Chairman Dmitry Medvedev has lambasted, meaning to criticize harshly, Western attempts to justify arms deliveries to Kyiv as an alleged effort to prevent a world war. And he stated, firstly, defending Ukraine, which nobody needs in Europe, would not save the senile old world from retribution if anything occurs. Secondly, once the Third World War breaks out, unfortunately, it would not be on tanks or even on fighter jets. Then everything would definitely be turned to dust, Medvedev wrote on his Telegram channel on Saturday. So as he stated, everything would definitely be turned to dust. So what type of component or instrument can be able to fulfill what he just stated? Linking up with Isaiah 54:16, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. So it's definitely those nuclear missiles. Nuke for nuke. So that's why you're constantly hearing and reading about all this war talk within these latter days. Let's get right back to this other article from UPI. And it says, earlier this week, U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin visited Seoul and vowed to expand joint military drills and to strengthen extended deterrence, which includes a nuclear umbrella against North Korean threats. So by America trying to keep up with their companionship with South Korea by stating that they can reaffirm their ironclad commitment to South Korea by deploying strategic assets and also scaling up combined drills with Seoul. So by the threats of North Korea, it's going to be more heavy U.S. military presence within South Korea. And it says right here, Austin added there would be more frequent deployments of U.S. strategic assets such as advanced stealth jets and aircraft carriers to Korea. North Korea said Thursday that the enhanced cooperation would turn the Korean peninsula into a more critical war zone. And that's that nuke for nuke. The DPRK has a clear counteraction strategy capable of coping with any short and long-term scenarios attempted by the U.S. and its vassal forces. And that's beautiful because this proves that America is also Rome reloaded, because ancient Rome had their vassal states. So it's no new thing under the sun. And it says it will strongly control the present and future potential challenges with the most overwhelming nuclear force, the ministry spokesman said. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un recently called for an exponential increase of the country's nuclear arsenal. He also ordered the mass production of lower-yield tactical nuclear weapons, which are designed to be used on the battlefield. And that takes me right to Joel 3, verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Verse 10. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Plowshares and pruning hooks are agricultural tools. So Yahweh Bashim Shah are placing a spear upon these different global leaders to amp up their nuclear technology and arsenal. So beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. And North Korea is a fine example of this biblical prophecy. Because I want to say back in October 2006, that's when North Korea conducted their first nuclear test. And look at them nowadays. They are challenging this great whore, America. And they feel like they can go tit for tat with America's military presence. So as it says right here, let the weak say, I am strong. And I read that back in 2020, North Korea conducted 4 missile tests. Then the following year, 2021, They doubled that number. In this past year, 2022, North Korea fired more missiles than any other year on record. And they launched 23 missiles within one day. So again, as it says within this prophecy, let the weak say, I am strong. And we know just by alone, North Korea cannot take down America, but it just shows you the validation of the prophecies. How these weaker nations, once years ago, are standing up for themselves and what they believe in, and they are coming against the hammer of the earth, referring to America. Because a lot of these nations are tired of this world police, referring to America and how they do things on this earth. And that takes me to Jeremiah, the 50th chapter and the 22nd verse. A sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. And again, the only type of component that can fulfill this prophecy can only be those nuclear missiles. Verse 23, how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? And again, the hammer of the earth is referring to America and how America constantly devastates these other countries. And that's by that Babylonian wine. Democracy, feminism. America has economic hitmen that will go to these other countries and they do not abide by the ways of America. Then they will set up a puppet leader from amongst one of these countries and they will follow suit. So how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? And first and foremost, that's by Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua spiritually bringing this place down. Then it's going to be physically manifested. And that's one thing in life. You cannot be a bully for so long. You are always going to have a certain type of individual to grow the heart and stand against you. And that's exactly what these weaker nations once years ago are doing into the presence of America within these latter days. So how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations? And when something is desolated, that means that it is utterly deserted or empty. So the whole United States of America will be laid waste. And that takes me to Jeremiah 49 verse 13. For I have sworn by myself, said the Lord Yahweh, that Basra should become a desolation. So ancient Basra was the homeland of Esau, and the modern Basra is referring to America. That's spearheaded by the nobility of Esau Edom. So for I have sworn by myself, said the Lord Yahweh, that Basra should become a desolation, again, which means deserted, emptiness. This place, America, will be unoccupied by people. And it says a reproach, a waste, and a curse. And all the cities, referring to the whole United States of America, thereof should be perpetual wastes. Which is why the spirit was heavy upon this Russian Security Council deputy chairman by stating, if World War III breaks out, it won't start on tanks or fighter jets. And he went on to say, everything would definitely be turned to dust. So that's definitely the after effects of those nuclear missiles. As it says in Malachi 4:1, for behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be as stubble. And that takes me to 2 Ezra 16 verse 13. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow, his arrows that he shooteth are sharp, and should not be missed, when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. And those arrows are referring to those nuclear missiles. Because you had a movie that came out in 1996 that was called Broken Arrow. And it was started by John Travolta, Christian Slater. So that code name within that movie, Broken Arrow, were referring to nuclear weapons. So for strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow, his arrows that he shooteth are sharp and should not miss. And that's because Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua's spirit is going to be inside those nuclear missiles and directing those nuclear missiles for whatever designation they want them to be targeted at. It's stated in the book of Hebrews how our Lord is a consuming fire. So therefore, his spirit is going to be inside those nuclear missiles. And by this prophecy right here, as it says, it should not miss. And it says, when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. So our forefather Ezra, he used the best type of terminology he can use in his day of time, when he was shown the vision through the spirit of these nuclear missiles. So he described them as arrows. So no regular arrow can be shot from one end of the earth onto the other parts of the world. So he described them as arrows. And that's why these nukes are known as in today's time as intercontinental ballistic missiles. And intercontinental means traveling between continents, which also proves the prophecy in Isaiah 13:5, how they come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. Which takes me right back to the title of this article: if World War III breaks out, it won't start on tanks or fighter jets, warns Medvedev. In this article also, North Korea warns of nuke for nuke reaction after U.S. South Korea air drills. So the closer that we get to Yahushua's second debut on this earth, then the more and more worldwide conflicts from these different global leaders and heightened tensions are continually going to be rising. So I brought this out. You all was edified. You all stay strong. Keep pushing forward. Shalom.